Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Lance here, and today I want to chat with you about something that I see on a regular basis. And because it doesn't have anything to do with nutrition or workouts, people do not associate actually fixing this thing with their fitness goals. So the key is here is that if you've ever felt desperate to get off that last like 20 or 30 pounds, but every single time you start to make progress, something happens where, it's this happens or that happens and derails you. Life happens, you get stressed, or it's like this thing happens at the job, or maybe you're thinking of something right now that like, oh gosh, I've been there, and every time I go to get fit, something happens. And it's like I start making progress, and then it's like, well, what's the dang use? Because every single time that I start, something pulls me away. My life is just too crazy. It just doesn't make sense. If that's you, if you've been here, like many of my clients have been, you're in the right place. Stay tuned. I want to go over a few solutions that we help our clients to do that really will give you, well, I would say a paradigm shift to help you to focus on what needs to be focused on so that you're not focusing on areas that are unfortunately more misnomers within the arena of fitness. So a couple different things that I want to kind of help people understand is that the whole premise here is that the best diet plan and workout plan in the world cannot help you if you can't figure out how to follow through. If you are having, if you're the type of person where you find yourself not showing up for your workouts, where you're meal prepping for a little bit, but then it stops because you're overwhelmed, you're bored, whatever the reason is, these things are not going to go away on their own if you're only focusing on nutrition and working out. Because while those things are important, those are only external. Those are external solutions, but the problem is we have internal problems that are going on, okay? Are you staying with me here? The key is that these internal problems are the ones that usually cause self-sabotage to some degree or another. So normally what happens is when people have emotional eating situations, they tend to blame it on discipline or simply the fact that they have nutrition issues. But I would actually argue, and I would challenge you on this to actually to challenge more of the sense that maybe it's not so much of discipline, but it has more to do with other areas of your life that might simply not be in as much of alignment or peace or creating as much certainty in your life that allows you to actually manage the nutrition and the workouts without feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, spread too thin, etc. So the point here is that what I see more often than anything is, and now again, I should preface to say that we mainly work with high achieving, whether they're high achieving career people, CEOs, corporate execs, pro athletes, you name it, all the way to the individual who is the high achieving business owner, entrepreneur, who's building a business, running a family, in trying to make sure that quality of life is still there. So both of these individuals, whether working for, in a career, advancing the career, or being a business owner, both of these individuals, being high achievers, have one thing in common, and that's simply the fact that a lot of these individuals feel, and again, I'm one of these, by the way, it's very easy for us to feel like, well, if some is good, then more must be better. Now, I don't know about you, but I am one of the type of people that I have multiple goals, and sometimes I allow them to interfere with other goals. Meaning, I play guitar. I want to learn how to continue to advance my career, and not my career, but advance my my playing. Normally, I would say a career just because it is the stint. So we call that like a lifting career, etc. So I guess I'll call that a career. But nevertheless, though, we're going to say in this state, I want to advance my guitar skills. I want to continue to build and grow my business. I have other businesses that I'm creating that I want to create. I'm learning other languages. There's always things that I want to do. And the problem is that unfortunately, if I'm focusing on all of these things at once, something's going to take a back burner. And unfortunately, usually what happens is we end up putting our health or our self on the back burner. So what I want to do is kind of give you a couple different things that we do with our clients to help them to make sure that quality of life still exists, but yet you're still reaching your fit goals. Because here's the thing, guys, you've got to keep in mind that if you're not reaching these goals, these goals are usually going to be predicated or based on some sort of emotional pain that you're going through or that you've gone through. That's where I started. And the problem is that when you're allowing these other areas to interfere with your ability to get yourself fit, it's not just about your health. What's happening is that you are unfortunately severing the ability to, well, to live at your peak confidence. You're severing the ability to live at your peak health, to be able to operate and perform at your highest level where you're not, well, I'm going to say operating again, but where you're not operating, utilizing, I would just say coping techniques as far as getting through your day, socializing, building your business, etc. And so the thing of it is that many of our clients used to actually try and get into shape and then decide at the same time to advance their career or start a new business, or we're going to enroll our kids into something, we're going to go on this trip, we're going to do this thing. And unfortunately what happens is, again, like the old adage says, chase two rabbits and they both get away. And this is the problem. I'm not telling you that you can't work on two things at the same time. In fact, a lot of my life coaching and fitness coaching clients, we work on advancing their business simultaneously to working on their personal boundaries and getting them fit. So these are multiple faceted goals here, but the difference is that we're not going to set them on a path to chase a goal and then allow them to pursue a goal that conflicts in time and in structure and order, etc. And so this is where the life coaching aspect, the neuroscience aspects, the psychology aspects begin to come into getting fit here. A lot of trainers and coaches will say, yeah, like we teach mindset and it's all about mindset, but I don't actually hear people actually explaining, like, well, what does that look like? So I want to take a moment and kind of explain. These are the sort of things that if you continue to focus on external solutions, meaning you're working out, making sure that you're tracking your food and meal prepping, all of those, instead of focusing on some of these areas here and asking yourself if you're spreading yourself too thin, not creating enough margin, choosing too many goals at the same time, maybe not even setting goals the right way. These are unfortunately what causes people to never reach a goal. And what I want to do is give you several more focuses, we're going to call them paradigm shifts, that will allow you to, instead of focusing first on nutrition and all of these things and overlooking some of the most key aspects, this here will allow you to kind of focus on these things while you're focusing on your nutrition, etc. So the thing of it is that we instruct people to stop focusing on accomplishing so many things at once while trying to reach your fitness goals. Because what's going to happen is, whichever one feels like it's the most challenging, even if it's the most important, is going to eventually fall to the wayside. So if you take on two goals to build a business and simultaneously to get yourself in shape, then what tends to happen is if you start building a business and you start making a little bit of money, we've already started to get a little bit of pleasure from this new thing that we're chasing. So maybe you're working a lot of hours, but you're getting rewards for it. Okay, you're getting payouts that allow you to continue to put yourself through that agony of starting a new business. But when you're working out, it's costing you time, but it's also costing you the pain of the workout. And yet you're not getting paid immediately because working out does not yield instant gratification the same way that sometimes other things on social media or building a business can. And so the fact is that your mind can start convincing you that what you're doing is, you know what, maybe this isn't a good time right now. I'm building my business and this is really important. So you know what, I think I'm going to just try and work on getting fit later. And I see this all the time. And I've got to help out family and so, they really need my help. And you know what? It's just not a good time right now. And what ends up happening is that you're prioritizing something that may be important to you, but may be severely less important than you getting off that 20 pounds, fitting back into the size that you were in 10 years ago, when you had the most confidence, the best sex life, when you felt like you had energy to actually go to the gym, when you have energy to keep up with your kids, and when you walk past the mirror and you don't look at yourself and go, oh, what happened? Or, ugh, because I've been there. I think we've all been there, but the fact is that there's one way that works and one way that doesn't. So we like to have our clients usually choose 1 to 2 goals maximum to focus on, and then only go for the next goal once that goal is mastered, meaning that you did not regress after achieving your goal. So this is another area, is that sometimes people end up wanting so much so soon that unfortunately they choose too many goals to accomplish all at once. And this is what ends up happening. So again, what we want to do is kind of encourage people, before you move on to something, make sure you've mastered it before you start taking on a new goal. So that could be the same thing as if you just started a new business 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, and you know that you're putting in so many hours at work, and you're not really, it's not a focus for you to get fit right now, the last thing you want to do is start dabbling, because you're going to end up convincing yourself that the reason you didn't follow through is because of you, because you lack discipline or what have you, when really it's just simply the fact that in this season, your business is just simply the larger priority over your fitness, and that's okay. If you're not in a condition where your life is being threatened by heart disease or things like that, you can make a choice like that. Now, I would venture to say that if you are the type of person who is more emotional, or the type of individual who does focus on how they're feeling each day, like myself, then I would say that pursuing the business, if you've got a job, pursuing a business or whatever this extracurricular activity might be, if you're prioritizing that over your fitness, then I would say that that might not be a good idea. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you are the type of person each day, and I keep on saying the type of person because I'm trying to spell out that there are multiple different types of people, and some of them react in different ways to stress and how they feel. So the fact is that there are types of people that each day they're affected by how they look in the mirror, by how they feel in their clothes, by what they see in photographs of themselves, and it begins to affect their work life. It begins to affect other areas, their sex life, their marriage. It begins to even cause them to feel like they're more anxious and stressed. And if you are, and that's how I am, by the way, if you're like me on those things, then selecting one of these other things that you might be tempted to, starting a new business, shifting your career, just choosing something different, or doing something that just, a new challenge, whatever that might be, may not be a smart or wise priority in your case, because of the fact that the pain level of where you're at, if you were to truly analyze it, would be significantly higher than the pain level of you not being in a business or not creating your new business. Ultimately, guys, everything comes down to this factor, is that it's pain versus pleasure. You're going to take action to move towards pleasure whenever that pleasure outweighs the pain of taking the action. Meaning that working out, there's a pain to it. There's a pain of, setting aside 30 minutes. There's a pain of actually the physical pain of it working out. Now, it doesn't have to be severe, but the point is it costs you. But yet the pleasure, the payout is when you get those washboard abs, whenever your shoulder caps are popped so well and people are asking you, what do you do to look like this? And you no longer feel so insecure and feel like your day is being sabotaged because of how you feel about yourself. I would venture to say that that particular level of pleasure, that payout far significantly outweighs the pain of working out. And when you know this and you focus on this, you're able to start taking action. So the last thing I want to give you guys is that it's hard enough to achieve anything that isn't familiar, so you don't want to make it harder on yourself than it needs to be by setting extra things on top of the thing that you want to be. So prioritization is a must if you want to be successful for more than just a few weeks in a particular area. So the whole key is that you've got to stop focusing on accomplishing so many other things while you're trying to reach one particular goal, whether that's, I'm losing 10 pounds, but I'm already focused on the next 10 pounds. That's trying to do too many things at once. Or I'm trying to, get up to a 300-pound bench press while I'm losing my gut, building a business, and pursuing the love of my life. These are the sort of things that people do. And unfortunately, then they wonder why they're not able to follow through. You've spread yourself too thin, you've not created margin, and you did not come up with an effective goal-setting means that would allow you to set goals, stick with them, and maintain that goal after you've reached it. So nevertheless, guys, these are the things that we go over with our clients, that we help them. If you want help in these areas, making sure that you've got accountability and prioritization, but from a neuroscience and psychological level, so that you can not only reach that goal of getting back into that size 32 jean, or getting back into maybe that 6'8" dress size that you're wanting to be in, so that you feel confident, you have the energy, and you feel like you're not bringing your lacking self-esteem into your meetings or into your marriage. Shoot me a DM. Let's chat just a little bit about your goals, your struggles, and let's see if and how I can help you. So nevertheless, guys, if you feel like this helped you at all, if you feel like this resonated, if you're like me in any of these things that I described, comment below and let me know that you're like me, and let me know if you have, well, let me say this, if you feel like this added any value, be sure to comment, hashtag